Master Tavern Keeper's History of the Old World.
And so, what was it that the two dwarves found at the bottom of this sump? This lowest part of the main shaft of the mines of Eklund? Ah, well, to put a finely pointed nib on it, it was a squig. A very large squig. Oh, yeah, I see. Please forgive me, but it was a what? Oh, can I also echo our beloved knight's confusion here? It was a what? Ah, ha, ha, ha. It was a squig. Ah, I see. This wall of blank expressions clearly tells me that we'd better take a moment or two here to talk about this. Well, it was actually my old university friend Slug who expanded my own knowledge of squigs. It happened that, back in 1536, there was a visiting professor to Nuln, one of those rare scholars of all things orc, who was holding a series of lectures on the Greenskin Menace. The professor's name was Oscar Maedek, quite the luminary in his field, although largely unknown beyond it. I actually saw Professor Maedek in and around some of the taverns at the time, but I never had the pleasure of speaking with him. No one did. He always drank alone and growled at anyone who tried to strike up a conversation with him. However, in his lectures, Sluggy said that he became a very different person, enthused and animated, like a man possessed by a fathomless obsession, although there was something else too. Sluggy hypothesized that it looked like there was pain there, the depths of his knowledge seemingly matched by some great wound in his soul. Anyway, it was a few weeks or so before Snow Thaw, and Maedek was well into his lectures. They were not well attended, though. One of the main reasons was that it was the month of Yardrung, or Nuavanaio, as we call it here in Tilea, and everything was covered in a thick white carpet. Needless to say, it was pretty nippy outside, and heading outdoors was an adventure unto itself. I heard it on good authority that the timing of his lectures was intentional on the part of the university. The professor was a bit of a pariah, you see. The old lecture hall that he'd been assigned to, too, was one rarely used. Apparently, it got as cold as a coffin at that time of year, and the trek to get there was treacherous, even at the best of times, but especially when the muddy, winding roads were frozen and covered in snow. Sluggy came by for a drink with me at the end of each lecture and eagerly told me everything he'd heard, knowing full well that I'd lap it up. One of these occasions happened to be after a talk on the aforementioned squigs. Oh, yeah. Sowieso, please spill the beans on these squigs then, Master Tavern Keeper. But of course. The Tap and Spile, Nuln, Yardrung, in the year 1536 of the imperial calendar. Oi, you made it. I'm over here, Sluggy, by the fire. Sept. Bavarina's glistening tears. It's like the northern wastes out there. Honestly, I half expected to see an ice dragon perched on the tavern's roof as I approached. Praise Cleo, they did not. Here, have a seat. I already got you a drink. Can I assume that you managed to get to Professor Maedek's lecture again today too, despite the worsening weather? You can rest assured that I did. It'd be a crime to miss one, although it was just me and the other members of the stalwarts once more. We all set out especially early so we could get there with time to spare. Professor Maedek always starts promptly, you see. This time, old Dankrad brought along extra furs for us all on his sled, and thanks Sigmar he did. The lecture hall was as cold as a tomb, even worse than yesterday if you can believe it. Didn't stop the professor, of course. He was on fire once again. I see. And so, what was the subject of today's talk? Well, definitely a topic that'll interest you. It was about something that the professor called Squigs. I'm sorry, it was about what? Squigs, my friend. A word that the professor himself came up with. At least, so he claimed. It's the name he gives to those strange bouncing beasts that you sometimes see accompanying greenskin hordes, and, according to the professor, live in great numbers amongst the cave-dwelling goblin populations of the World's Edge Mountains and other mountainous regions. This, of course, being something that he knows all about, having been a prisoner of the night goblins in his youth. Oh, I did not know that. It seems like it may have been the experience that sparked off his obsession with the greenskins, although I can't definitely say that. I see. But anyway, so he spoke about those terrible bipedal beasties, like the ones that cropped up in the saga of Doran Helder and Catelyn Candum when they're in the mines of Mount Bloodhorn. Squigs, eh? Is that what they're called? Of course I know the creatures, the ones that look like little red spheres with tiny legs, stumpy tails, and enormous mouths. I wasn't aware of that particular name for them, though. My uncle's friend used to just call them greenskin beasties. Oh yes, I recall you saying. But apparently, it's Squigs. I see. It's a most interesting word that he has chosen for them. I wonder how he arrived at it. Well, I actually asked him after the lecture had finished. He told us that it was short for squiggly bastes. Oh, really? I suppose that makes sense. Although I was expecting something a little more profound. Well, never mind. But don't get the wrong end of the stick. It actually became quite an in-depth talk. I honestly didn't realise that there were as many types and subtypes as there are. Oh. I knew that there were small ones and big ones, but beyond that, I'm afraid I'm clueless. Please, go on. I'm all ears. Right, yeah. Well, I'll leap in then.